Hello.
Hello, she just said something funny. So,
I told him to focus.
okay. All right, so this is Chat with Chris and Pat.
And we can't hit the table because it's moving it.
Oh man, it is shaking.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, we just watched a Instagram short. Is that correct?
I think, yeah, it was more like an Instagram reel. But yeah, a social media post.
And it was like a podcast thing, two men talking.
Yeah.
And the main subject was what is the definition of service regarding masculinity? Because he used the example of Jesus washing the disciples' feet. And she said, what do you think about that?
And it just made us think, because obviously, you'll come to know later, I mean, more of our story will come out, but like we used to be very Christian, and we started studying a lot and moved away from that. Now we're more spiritual, more earth-based, more do your own thing-ish.
Yeah.
And so I just was curious to hear your thought, and I figured we'd bring you into our conversation because I was like, oh wait, let's just record this as our video for today, and we have a real conversation.
Right, the conversation we're about to have, and we, be real here.
Yeah.
So yeah,
so you were talking about service, and he had said service, and he really had a hard time with that word, and I was like, I think you have a feeling that service equals sacrifice.
Right. Yeah. Because just putting it out, I'm thinking, acts of service like washing dishes, taking out the garbage, going and getting things for people. That was my immediate
That's what
thought.
Service means to you?
Immediate thought to me. Yeah.
You were messing with the camera.
Oh, yeah, right.
Do you need to move back?
No, I'm good. I'm gonna tie my hands to my lap. But anyways.
It's all good.
And then you were like, I think you're confusing. Well, that's what I was thinking, and then I think you could tell what I was thinking. And
yeah. Well, and do you find that doing those things are a sacrifice for you?
I do enjoy doing them. However, at some point, it gets so far that I am not doing the passions that I have. So it's like, oh man, don't you want to get into drawing? I don't have the fucking energy to get into drawing right now because I've just spent, and granted I could push through that, but
let's talk about that for a second, because that's a really good point.
Yeah.
You just spent, and then wave your arm. What is that?
I've just spent a lot of energy putting into the whatever.
I want to know the whatevers.
Oh, it could be cooking, washing dishes, cleaning up clutter. It takes up a lot more time than I planned. So.
Yeah. And so one of the things we've talked about before that I'm interested to figure out for you is delegation.
Right.
Or saying, I'd like some help with this, so I can do that.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that? Because obviously you're not the only one making dinners.
Yeah.
But when you do make dinner.
Right. I think it's like I have a habit, so I recognize it's very doable, and I know the rest of my family would team play the shit out of it and be there. But I know my habit, and it has been tend to be take it all on myself.
Now, is that because you feel like that's service, or is it sacrifice?
I think honestly.
Yeah.
I think that without being aware of my thoughts, I think that there's a part of me that doesn't want the inconvenience of asking.
Now, do you think it's inconvenience? This is what I do because I'm a certified life coach, so this is what we do this a lot. I just kind of dig in.
Right.
Well, it's to help get it out because you stuff so many things.
Right. Yeah.
And so these kind of conversations really help.
Have done.
So let's go back to that.
Yeah.
You say it's an inconvenience. Is that what you said?
That's what I'm aware that I'm telling myself. Yeah, that's what I'm aware I'm telling myself.
What does that mean?
Well, in the past, if I've asked for help, it has not come as fast as it would be nice to have had. And I know that's also on me. Instead of laying out a, hey, at least whatever you're doing, at least come here in 10 minutes, versus
or
hey,
asking, would it fit your time?
Yeah.
One of the things I recognize that I'm wondering if this is like a disconnect sometimes of expectations versus reality type stuff, where, and this is an interesting point I just thought of. So it sounds like when you ask someone to do something in the past, you had the expectation that they would do it right away. And when you're in the middle of something and you're asked to do something for somebody else, do you stop right away and do it?
Usually, yeah.
And do you get resentful about doing that?
I don't think so. Well, maybe I do, because it's not. I see that it's not reciprocated. Yeah.
Or even if it was reciprocated, having to stop in the middle of what you're doing to go help somebody else with what they're doing that they haven't prepped you for. Does that? See, like for me, that's the thing.
I'm already aware of. Right now, I'm already aware of what the point she's getting at. I'm just laying that out there. I get it. I see. But
I think it's the expectation that you kind of set yourself up for feeling the disappointment when
they are unclear expectations.
They're not set.
Yeah.
Or not even discussed and then
we're kind of allowing the conversation to kind of have a haggle,
Oh, come on, haggle me. But it makes you wonder, like, if the expectation is that people answer right away and they don't, and you get disappointed and then you stop asking, I think if we back it up a bit, it's just probably a bit of improper communication skills.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like right now, I'm in my head as you're talking, and I don't want to interrupt you.
Please do.
I think this can be rooted in the way I was raised as well. That was the expectation. I learned very quickly if I did not meet that expectation, I don't remember the full details, but I was definitely punished. Either by verbal or maybe even by physical. But yeah. So very interesting. I don't want that for my kids, but when you're not aware of certain paradigms that are in the background, this might be a possible paradigm. And
it's out of fear instead of out of desire to be help.
Yeah. As we're talking through this, like I said earlier, they would absolutely team play. Absolutely. I just know that's in them.
But with some parameters. I think that's the other thing is like mutual respect. So to demand, and okay, let's just be fair, when we were younger, raising our kids, we did do a lot of that.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what our generation was like. You just get up and do it because I told you to do it and you do it now.
Speaking of Christianity, I don't know what Christianity is doing nowadays, but that with the leaders in Christianity that we were choosing to make our leaders, that's what they were preaching, preaching and teaching. Yeah, get that respect.
Yeah, respect equals obedience.
Spare the rod, spoil the child.
Yeah, that's rough. So don't go down that path if you are not a parent yet and plan to be one.
Watching this right now, you may be a Christian. I apologize if that's offensive, but not intended. Oh yeah, right. The table shake. The table shake.
I gotta get this thing so it doesn't shake.
Yeah, we just come through a pathway where we feel differently.
Yeah.
And yeah.
We'll talk about that in another discussion altogether.
Yeah.
But I like seeing you on film. You're so cute.
Oh, you're so hot. I mean, pretty.
But so service. Let's go back to that for a second, because what you just went to, I think, is a really interesting point about the obedience being you ask for someone to come help, but really what you're saying is I'm kind of demanding help and expecting you to do it.
Yeah, I mean,
Whereas you have the expectation that if you ask, it's going to be done now.
right.
Because that's how you were raised to respond.
Yeah.
And by someone not doing it the same way, you think something's wrong with them instead of wrong with the way that you're perceiving it or coming across. I mean, it's just a natural thing. Subconsciously. Not like you're like, oh, well, you're a horrible person. I don't want to.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
You don't have that, like, you don't think that, but it sounds like that's kind of part of it.
Yeah.
And then maybe coming to a new understanding about what service is and how to ask for our needs to be met. Right? Like, explaining, I would like to do this, and that. But I also feel like food needs to be made. Would one of you be willing to do the food tonight instead?
Right.
And then it's going to be, for me, it would most likely be, oh, absolutely. I just need to get this done, and then I can jump on it. Because I don't like to be told what to do. Surprise. But I like to be, informed. In human design, I'm a manifester. Design and
I'm a generator.
Generator design, so I don't know if anybody out there understands those language, but another thing we can get into later. But I always want to be a support to you. And so I want to support your goals more than your actions. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It's okay, baby. We're not used to putting this on the table. So I think if you tell me what your goals are or what you're wanting to see for yourself or your evening or what have you, because that's sometimes like when I pick you up, I'm like, what do you see for our evening? What do you see? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Like I'm constantly asking you that.
I appreciate that. How do you want to see the evening go? I never saw the fucking intention there. I just think, okay, what is it? What is that? The going through the motions. Going through the daily. Okay, I'm gonna cook. I'm gonna clean. I'm gonna,
How many times am I telling you? Please tell us not. Like, don't do that.
Yeah.
I'm constantly telling you, please don't do that.
You do. Hey y'all. This fucking happens. Your spouse offers something 45 times and it still doesn't sink in. So we had to do a video to figure that out.
I think it's good to bring people and you get to talk it out. That's what it's all about. And this is like just a real conversation. Like we were actually just literally just about to have this conversation. Like we started, I'm like, oh wait, pause.
Before we decided we wanted to start this thing, we talked about just having these real moments. Really interesting. I mean, not to attract an argument, but it'd be interesting when we do have an argument. Get it live.
Oh yeah. Well,
in this corner.
No, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm with her, not against her.
Exactly. There's no opponents.
We just have two different views sometimes.
Exactly.
And two different understandings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very. And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So, any takeaways? Oh, I wanted to travel back to service because when you talked about service from the very beginning.
Let's define service from a different perspective.
Yeah, because that's kind of what I don't see service as like those little acts. I'm not an acts of service love language though, so that's probably why. But for me, service is like a lifestyle.
Okay.
Does that make sense? It's like it's a way of using what you're passionate about or what you're interested in a way to support those other people
around
with
you.
That gift and with that is service. Like I feel like I'm in service to my family because it's my lifestyle to find ways to support them or to find ways to meet their needs. And each one is so individual. So learning learning how to know what each child needs and what my husband needs, and not in a people-pleasing way, but in a way that's like, how could they feel my support, or how can they flourish in their lives with my service? My service is to support people.
You want
like
people to be fulfilled?
I do. I want them to be independently fulfilled and to feel like it's them doing it, although I'm in the background pushing and like, I don't know about pushing, but like giving all the energy to fuel that. So service for me is like a broader picture. So when we hear those things and talk about being a man, in their words, was to be of service and not just to be about yourself. And I think there's a lot of wisdom to that.
Right, that they see that there's an ability to let go of whatever they're interested in for the sake of the family.
No, but see, that's where I feel like you've gone off the edge.
Yeah.
Because once again, you're taking that into sacrifice.
Mm.
Now, obviously, there's times where I don't do what I want to do because I know that my children need me, or you need me in a particular way. And I do put some things on hold or pause, but I don't see that as, oh, well, I'm going to give up of myself to do these things.
Mm.
It's more of, this is still me. This is still my interest, and I'm going to come back to it when my time is freed up to do that.
Yeah, I think it's like I think it is a honest desire to help. You know, like, I think it's like, I'm gonna give up that because I honestly want it to do it more, to take you to wherever.
I'm finding your language really interesting.
Yeah.
Are you hearing what you're saying? I'm giving up that.
Did I say giving up?
Yes.
I said stop. Okay.
No.
Okay.
We have it recorded.
But yeah, all right.
I've always wanted that.
I fuck up sometimes.
No, baby. No, it's not a fuck up. It's not about fucking up. It's that, it's saying what you genuinely mean.
Yeah.
Because I think that kernel of what you actually mean is what we want to address.
Mm-hmm.
To help you be able to like release that people pleaser part that you were raised with.
Yeah, give it
up. In fact, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I need to chew on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like not,
yeah.
Probably not come up with anything right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's smart. I mean, this is definitely one of those. I mean, it's not something you can figure out in, 18 minutes. But I think it's really important that you would like recognize that I have to give, I'm okay giving up, or I give this up. That's not what service is, in my opinion. Service is more about, it's out of love. It's out of it is desire.
I felt like that's what I was just explaining.
To some level.
But when you hear the words give up,
that is the problem. Because it sounds like it's an either or. It can't be both. If I'm giving something up to do this, it means that this is gone and this is what I'm going to do. Mm. Instead of, okay, I can still do both, but I'm aware that I want to do both. I think awareness is also part of it. I'm aware that I want to do both, and I'm going to just pause this one here, communicate to the people around me that this is what I'd like to get done, but I'm also I really want to be of service, and I want to give my energy and my attention here first so that I can feel fulfilled or whatever. I'd like to, at the fulfilling that thing or helping this thing out or whatever the case may be. But I think what also happens is that this gets forgotten. This, what you say you have to let go of, you don't communicate it.
Right.
You don't acknowledge it.
Yeah.
It just kind of simmers in the background. And nobody around you knows that's what you have, like, hanging out in the background.
Right.
And so it feels like sacrifice because you never get back to this because you don't tell people around you that you want to get back to it. Right?
Yeah. Yes, it's all about communication.
Well, oftentimes.
Yeah.
And expectations and...
Right.
I love that, though.
Yeah.
I could tell your dad.
Well, I mean,
It's still going.
It's still going.
Yeah, my battery's low.
Her battery low. Warning came on.
But it is 20 minutes. We probably should.
Yeah, I was just thinking about time, and I think I definitely understand.
Yeah.
I want to say I understand without being one of those. I understand, okay? I do understand. I appreciate it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If I feel like if I talk more, this video may get like boring to our viewers.
It's not. It's honestly that they're just coming in to join us.
Yeah.
It's not about them. It's
So
really about you.
I'm not trying to cut this off. I'm like recognizing. I see what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. I know we've had similar conversations before, but it feels like the service concept is kind of a good jumping off point into some of those other avenues.
Yeah, and we definitely had like different views, and I'm glad we talked about it to get a wider perspective on it.
Yeah. Very fascinating. Okay, well, it's a very long video. Oof, I'm gonna keep tearing this.
Hope you're not getting dizzy.
I know, right? So we're curious. What is service like for you? And does it have any role?
Yeah, bring in perspective, please.
Manly.
I want to hear it. Yeah. I mean, that's what the short was about masculinity, toxic masculinity. Well, anyways.
Well, it was balancing it. But
that's a different story.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're good.
Love you too.
Okay. And we're going to go. Ciao.
Ciao.